I think it's disturbing the way we remember the people we love. I'm talking about obituaries. Obituaries generally read like resumes, person's school history, job history, dates, locations, even the survivors that are listed, the family members are listed like bullet points. I think what gets lost is the soul of the person, the voice of the person, the habits of the person, the hobbies of the person, the way that person took up space in the world. A life becomes more of a story about what they did in their working career than a story about the real person. Yet when somebody that we love is gone, it's never the resume that we miss. We don't think about, what they did for a living. We miss all of those small moments and the lessons that they passed down to us, the tone of their voice, the things that shape us, who we became. When my mom passed, I created a better story. At least I tried to create a better story for her. So this story is a reminder that a life can't be captured in a paragraph. Just as retirement can't be measured only by the numbers, titles, or the timelines. It was the morning after my mother died that I saw the bear. It was early and I was lying in bed looking out of my second-story bedroom window. And I often look out of the window in the mornings to start the day while also hoping to get a glimpse of wildlife starting theirs. So the morning that I saw the bear, I was still groggy because I hadn't slept well at all. It was a very restless night because I kept waking and reminding myself that my mother was gone. So it was a very stressful night. David and I were talking about something, and I don't remember what it was. And I was looking out of the window and I interrupted. That was a bear. At least I think it was. I had seen it on the trail right below the hill in our backyard. Our yard was very overgrown at the time. It was summer, and the small black bear had ambled by so quickly through the brush, like it was on a mission to some place. I was a little bit incredulous that it was actually a bear. David made some kind of remark about it being a sign, like it was my mother passing through, like it was her final farewell. Yet I didn't ever think of my mother as a bear. She was a lion. Leo the lion, as a matter of fact. She was strong and confident, and she could set the dance floor on fire, just like others in her zodiac sign are known to do. She was spirited, outgoing, and never afraid to speak her mind. I'm the quiet type, and she would often tell me as a child that I should speak up. I especially remember being instructed on how to conduct myself at the corner grocery meat counter. I don't know if you guys remember corner groceries. Let me know in the comments. When school was out in the summertime, she would send me to the store to buy cold cuts for lunch. She would tell me to get a 6-pack of soft drinks and some luncheon meat. She wasn't like other moms that wouldn't let kids drink soft drinks. She really liked sweets, and she didn't deprive my brother and me of candy or soda. I remember picking out 6 bottles of Vic shots to go with our lunch. Cream soda, pineapple, cola, grape, strawberry, and of course black cherry because that was my mom's favorite flavor. Get a half-pound of luncheon meat, she would say, and make sure you speak up when it's your turn to be served. Don't let the adults get ahead of you just because you can't talk up. That's how she used to talk to me all of the time when I was going to go get luncheon meat for summer vacation lunch. So throughout my life, I have heeded her advice to speak up. But I have also made sure that I don't take anybody else's turn at the counter, because she wasn't saying that I should get ahead of anybody. She was just saying, don't be so shy as to not speak up and have everybody else getting ahead of you when you miss your turn. So another lesson that mom taught me was to give right where right is due. And she said it doesn't matter if the person is young or old, rich or famous. or someone in authority. If the person's right, let it be. They're right. But if they're wrong, you shouldn't be intimidated. You have every right to let them know. Now you have to picture this, okay? This can be particularly tricky when you're a kid trying to deal with an adult that can't handle the truth from a kid that is smarter than they are, right? I pass this ethic down to my own kids. Give right where right is due. So I'm pretty sure that they would tell you that their grade school career was less than smooth sailing because of a teacher or two who couldn't take the facts being given to them by a person half their size. All of the talking mom was famous for, she wasn't much for talking on the phone. So as a kid, I remember she could just take the phone off the hook. She could take the phone off the hook without ever worrying about missing a call. She would always say, if it's important, they'll call back. If it's an emergency, they'll call back. So she would often take the phone off the hook as a kid. So after I grew up and she and I would talk on the phone for hours, okay? It just wasn't all the time, perhaps every couple of weeks or sometimes even once a month. And when she was busy or she wasn't in the mood for a long conversation, because we did talk on the phone for lengthy periods of time. In fact, I still do that with my own kids. She would have my dad answer the phone. So if my mom didn't want to answer the phone or talk, she would have my dad answer the phone. Hello? Hey, sissy, want to talk to your mother? Adele, your daughter is on the phone. So that's how it would go. A shout out for me to hear from my mom would be, tell her I'm busy. I don't have anything to say. I'll call her back maybe next week. So on the day that she passed, it was really fitting when I called and I heard her say in the background, I don't want to be bothered. Now I know my mom always felt guilty about turning away phone calls, but it really didn't bother me because I just accepted it as her way. When eventually she did find time to speak, I could always rely on her to be straightforward and frank with me. You know, she always gave me her straightforward, frank opinions, and I've always appreciated that. So my mom was healthy and giving everybody hell up until the very end. She died in 2013 at the age of 85. As it turns out, I wasn't seeing things when it came to the bear. David checked his trail cam, and there were pictures of an adult black bear and a cub who were on the trail that morning of my mother's passing. And I've always thought, wow, too bad she was already gone when I saw the bear, because I would have really loved telling her about it. And I could just hear her saying, what? You have bears in your backyard? So in closing, retirement is a lot like the morning after loss. On paper, everything looks settled. The plan is written, the dates are fixed, the work is done, but then life shows up quietly, unexpectedly, and asks a deeper question. The bear did not appear on a schedule. It did not announce itself. It passed through, purposeful and real, reminding me that life continues beyond what can be documented or explained. And retirement works the same way. You can prepare the finances, file the paperwork, and check every box. Yet the most meaningful part arrives later, often unannounced. Retirement is not the obituary of your working years. It's the trail you continue to walk after the resume ends. It's where the lessons you were given, speaking up, knowing your worth, giving credit where it's due, finally have room to breathe. Like that bear in the early morning light, retirement is not about what you did. It's about who you are when no one is watching and how you choose to move forward once the noise quiets down. That's the difference between ending a career and beginning a life. I want to thank you for stopping by. And if you're new here and looking for retirement planning topics, please take a look around my channel. I have hundreds of videos that I'm sure can help you with some of the questions you have on retirement planning. Remember, stay curious, stay healthy, and trust your retirement journey. Take care, everybody. Thanks again for stopping by. I'm Marlene with Rebel Retirement, and I'll see you next time.